town, I believe.
Yeah, it seemed like to me that they were in the mid-north here somewhere. That could,
I don't.
It's Milwaukee.
Okay. Kohler's up closer to Green Bay, isn't it?
I
suppose it depends on which division.
Yeah. They have one of their warehouses up in there, Wisconsin. I believe they have one in Madison too.
Corey Thorson
has joined.
Let's see, Bryson Stratton's technically bought out. They actually sold a couple years ago.
Oh. Investment company then, or?
Well, I believe it's like MTD.
Oh, okay.
Ended up buying them.
So they'll have a vested interest in keeping Bryson Stratton. Yeah. That's good. Still blows my mind. Kathy is still CEO of Toro and Winnebago. When he started at Winnebago, he was doing both.
It's 9 o'clock. Let's say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
9 a.m. We'll consider for approval of minutes and agenda.
approve the minutes, make motion to approve the minutes and agenda.
I'll second it.
Motion by Jensvold and seconded by Derby. We have a motion to approve minutes and agenda. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed. 9 a.m. Discussion with possible action, rural recycling program. Where do we want to start? Do we have new bids, new information?
Is there somebody on the phone from Waste Management?
Yes, hi, how's it going?
Okay. Hi, is this Corey?
It is Corey.
Okay, Corey. Would you like to address anything you'd like to tell us, or we have questions?
Absolutely, that's what I'm here for. So first thing to start off with, obviously, is obviously that we've had poor service here the last couple of months, and I do apologize for that. We've been having a struggle with staffing, and obviously that's not really an excuse. Everybody has staffing issues, right? What I can tell you what we're doing future-wise to resolve those problems, I've actually hired multiple extra slots at the site to be able to cover for those issues. Trying to actually make it an extra residential route so I can actually have extra people out to make sure we do not have that problem in the future. That being said, there is some things that obviously came to my attention. So I am the route manager in Mason City. I've been here for 5 years, route manager for 4. We obtained the contract from Albert Lee. So as doing it, and then I've honestly been in a truck myself, servicing cans. There's been multiple times out there sometimes that we have a lot of cans not out. And I think that maybe because of these, not currently, but I'm saying in the past, with maybe a service calendar. Do you guys ever receive a service calendar from Jay Neeson?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna plan on sending you another one and another one again, maybe half of the year. There's a 1 day in there that there's no service, and I brought it up a couple of times to Jay that maybe we're having that gap there where people aren't know we're skipping a week, so we have cans not out. So we're running after cans that aren't there, which then we obviously cause missed pickups. People call you, they call me, they say my recycling hasn't picked up. We have to try to run it down and get it picked up. So that's kind of something going forward too. I want to kind of talk about obviously a little bit is making sure that calendar's out there to everybody so they know. Yeah, that's what we got going forward. Any questions?
Questions, gentlemen?
Where is the recycling going?
So it comes back to Mason City MRF. So we have a little transfer station in Mason City, and then it goes to the Minneapolis MRF.
And so it gets sorted up in Minneapolis, or?
Yep, it gets sorted there. So we it's a really small facility in Mason. We actually just put the commingle and cardboard together. Goes in a 54-foot trailer, gets hauled up there, and then they sort it out on a conveyor belt.
There's been rumors out there that the recycling has been going to the landfill. Is there any truth to that?
Really? No. So I can attest to that. So all my drivers, and myself included, and anybody at Waste Management, fills out a document that says we will not commingle any trash or recycling. If we do commingle trash and recycling, that is a one-time deal termination. So, yeah, there's not a whole lot coming back from that. So,
Yeah.
Is the facility up in Minneapolis finding places for the recycling to go? Is that a struggle right now?
so the market's kind of up and down. Cardboard is getting to be a little bit of an issue. Commingle, not so much. They're doing a lot of recycling with the commingle stuff like that. Melting it down. The cardboard, it's not as much of the issue of where it's going. We've had a lot lately, I think, in the Minneapolis MRF, and it's still valuable. It's just finding places that aren't full of it already, to go back and get repackaged or whatever it would be. Amazon is a huge, Amazon's a huge place. They do a lot of the recycled cardboard. They take it, they remix the boxes, they save themselves some money on that, and we just keep reusing, so. Recycling business is kind of an up and down thing, and I'm sure you guys have heard about that. Sometimes it's the most valuable thing is gold, and sometimes it's worth about the thing of bronze.
So Carla, do you have the proposal on hand for them that we can look at again? That we're all aware of what they're offering. So we have a contract right now that was renewed in 2018,
Yes.
okay? And in that contract is the 96-gallon yellow lidded containers. That's what you're calling, when you say cans or whatever you say.
Yeah. Yep.
That's those. And you provide calendars and educational materials to the county residents, it says. At $5.50 per home per month for year one of the contract, and then there was an increase of 4%, is what I'm reading on that. Does that all sound right, Corey, or do you not have access to that?
I'm looking at it right now. It does sound correct when we talked about, obviously, the contract with Jay.
One area that's been in question is there's a mobile home park on the north side of Forest City that is outside the city limits. And the management there is working with somebody else to do their recycling, and they're billing the residents of the mobile home park. And I'm trying to figure out, if we're paying for it and they're paying for it, or what's going on there. Do you know if you've been going in there at all, or?
We have not been going in there at all. So is there still an open line for that place that you guys are paying? Let me look it up real quick. I'm gonna put that in my notes right now to look that up, and I'll get back to you about that.
Okay.
Because I know for a fact there for a while there they did go to a different provider. If we still have a ticket out there, obviously I need to talk to somebody and get that obviously canceled.
What would that be under, is there a name of that mobile home park that's called something, or?
Trying to remember that on the north side of town, what's it called?
I can't think off the top of my head. I know exactly what you're talking about though.
Okay, so you know the.
Yep, I know exactly where it's at.
So do we have a current contract right now? No,
It ended.
okay, it ended. So that was the 18, and it was a 4-year contract. Okay. So Corey, is there anything else that you'd like to add to this discussion? We're just trying to figure out what's best for our rural residents. If there's anything additional
Yeah.
you'd like to say.
Yeah, so I mean, like I said, in the beginning of this, obviously, I apologize for the poor service recently. From my understanding, obviously, the service before us having staffing issues was actually pretty decent and actually pretty good. I think we got to get some hurdles through, you know, some missed pickups, some not outs, and stuff like that we can get handled with those calendars, and maybe even my team reaching out to some people, make sure they know when to put their recycling out. If we have somebody that's constantly not putting it out. Yeah, I'd like to obviously work in the future. We're actually stepping up our game and just hiring more people, which we had never done in the past, to make sure we can split something up. That way it's more feasible to get done. The one thing I will say, and honestly, it's just how obviously we're in Iowa, Minnesota kind of deal is, with weather-wise, that might throw some things off. The commitment to me is obviously get you guys picked up as soon as possible after weather events if possible. So I'm sure we all heard about the sweet storm coming in the next couple of days, I'm assuming.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, well, if there's no other questions for Corey, all right.
I did look it up, it's Rocky Knoll.
Rocky Knoll, all right,
I will write that down, Rocky Knoll. I was right on the tip of my tongue.
thank you.
I don't think it has a sign, it's just on Rocky Knoll Lane.
Okay,
Yeah. I'll look into that.
all right, thank you,
Thanks, everybody.
thank you.
Okay.
So we,
Corey Thorson
other
has left.
discussion, about rural recycling.
I also asked Scott here in case you had questions for him.
Yep,
Okay,
I'm Scott Levine, I'm from Buffalo Center. I've been doing the recycling for the town of Buffalo Center for just shy of 6 years now. Well, actually, it's exactly 6 years, honestly. And when I saw that the contract was up, I figured I might as well try. I like doing the recycling for Buffalo. It's kind of a relaxation time, I guess, for me. And so I put a bid together, as you probably have there, for doing recycling drop-off points at the county sheds. And then those would be picked up twice a month. I figured that should be enough. If it gets full before then, I can always, figure out to pick it up more, but I think that should be pretty good with about how many residents are in the county versus what I have in Buffalo Center itself.
What size containers are you
So-
proposing?
What I can get are, they're roll-offs, so they're about 14 yards, but they're completely covered. They have doors that open, so you can put the recycling in. I currently use a trailer that's pretty much the same thing right now, that I just got for the town. And it keeps the snow out as long as they keep the door shut. But it also makes it so they can't, hopefully don't throw huge bags of garbage in it, for the most part.
Do people have to sort it there?
Yeah, the place that I'm bringing it to, it's, from what he's told me, I've he's been trying to, I've been waiting for him to contact me more to talk more about it, but it looks like it's two sort, which is what I do currently. So you have your paper products separate from your glass and plastics. But I'll get some papers on that when I get a hold of him again. And then what they do is they shred up all the paper, and they actually make insulation out of that. And then they use they use some of the other materials with that as well, because they make numerous things out of their facility, and then they send off the rest to other places that would use it, is what they've told me.
Are they chewing up the cardboard too, or?
Yeah, yep, the cardboard and paper, they're mixing that all in for insulation that they're making, that's all recycled.
And where does your recycling go?
It's actually a facility in Mason City as well.
The same facility?
No,
or-
their facility just ships it up to,
Okay, so
to
the
the
one that you
cities.
take it to actually,
they actually,
That's the-
yeah, so they've told me they do the stuff right there in-house, they're not part of waste management.
So beyond the cardboard and paper, then where does the other stuff go?
They use some of the other products too, and then they ship the rest to other places they use.
Plastic and glass and metal all go in there. You didn't say.
Yeah,
all.
yeah, yeah, and
Just to
metal.
be specific.
Yep,
Metal
your
goes in the
plastic,
same.
glass, and metal all goes together. And then your cardboard, newspapers, magazines, that all stays together on the other half of the roll-off. And there's a divider that's in them and everything.
so how do you educate the consumer? Or Buffalo Center, did
Well,
you,
Buffalo Center, I put out a paper that they just, I brought it up to the city, and they put it out with their monthly bills for Buffalo Center.
When I get my water bill and my sewer bill and that they usually have,
and your dates for pickup and stuff
Yep.
are in there?
Yeah,
which
And
is,
we would, yeah.
on for the city, it's been the second and fourth Wednesday of every month. But like, for this, I'd probably pick up on Mondays. That would work out pretty well, I think.
So you're asking for or your bid was asking for a 4-year contract?
4-year contract, yeah.
Is that something you'd be willing to negotiate though?
Couldn't really go lower. I figured cause I gotta get containers and they'd take 4 to 6 months to make, is the downside.
So it's your initial investment that you'll have.
Yeah,
that you have to
my-
recoup.
My initial investment and everything in it.
Much like when we got waste management, they started with those 96 gallons, and it took quite a few years for them to probably pay those up.
So you're saying that Waste Management owns those containers?
Well, it's up to them whether they want to claim ownership or not.
We paid for them.
yeah.
Yeah,
The contract said they would provide them.
so they ordered them and brought them, delivered them and that sort of thing, but they didn't pay for them.
On this contract, you would probably still retain ownership after
Yeah,
4 years.
I'd buy them and that just
Good
helps
to clarify that.
offset the cost of them. And then after that, I'd hope to keep going. At least it would retain it would help pay for it anyways.
So the biggest concern that people have when they see other counties that do this is some of the trash that gets in there.
Yeah.
And how do we alleviate that problem?
Yeah, I'd be dumping it, it's just me. So I'd be checking everything at that point when I'm dumping too. And if it's a little bit here and there, that's not a big deal. I can just throw it back in the truck, and I can, bring it to the landfill after that. That's not a big deal if it's a little bit. And then if it's more, I'd say we can put out letters. That's what I've done. I put out some more letters, just reminding people that it's not for garbage. And I'll have signs on the containers as well. And if need be, I can always get cameras too and put those up.
Yeah, that seemed like it was a suggestion, was the cameras, and I guess I personally wondered if that would be your expense and if you would monitor
Yeah.
that as well.
Yep, that would be, if it becomes a problem, I would purchase cameras and monitor
It's
those.
not gonna probably be the people recycling that are doing that, it's probably the people that haven't paid their grocery water, or garbage water bill, that are
Most
looking
likely.
for a place to get rid of their garbage.
Yeah,
The ones that now end up in the ditch just outside of town.
yeah. But then again, if it's a bag here and there, it's rather, I'll catch it, but rather than it being in the ditch too.
Well, you know where the city keeps their garbage truck, you just drop by there and throw it in the bag.
Well, I go to
Whoa.
the dump all the time. So,
Yeah.
So I'm sure that there are some other questions because there's a little bit of discussion about the placement of where these would go and how many we really need, and I'm sure that's why Scott and Ethan are here too. So I'm sure you guys have some questions too for.
Yeah, I guess we don't have a ton of space on some of our properties.
yeah,
I mean, Buffalo Center is full.
yeah.
Let's talk about Brock right now.
Actually, it's kind of nice to have it on the county property or whatever, but it would almost be more convenient for the people, like if we had it out behind our grocery store somewhere, because everybody's going uptown to the grocery store usually, and then that would be a much easier trip, especially for people who live in town, then they'd have to drive out of town to the, so, I mean, the placement doesn't necessarily have to be at the county sheds, especially because it even makes sense for the convenience of the people to, means, well, the people coming out of the country, I guess, for the most part, would be it, so they're gonna possibly be going by there anyways.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was my thinking, is since it's rural, most people go to town to get stuff anyways. And most of the sheds are right there close. I know Thompson's is, Lake Mills is on the north side of town, but it's not hard to get to. And Four Cities is right in the middle. And then all of them.
Like some of that would be liability. I mean, in May, June, July, we're doing rock and gravel run. And we can have 8 trucks and a loader running around our parking lot at all times, and someone coming in during the day trying to drop off recycling.
I have looked at the Buffalo Center site for sure, and there just isn't a lot of room there, because their parking equipment, and when they come in, they swing around with their pups hooked up, and yes.
Yeah, I mean, the hardest part is we don't invite the public onto them right now, so we'd have to really rethink how we set stuff on the property and operate out of there.
Yeah. I understand that.
So is there areas adjacent to it that could keep people, a separate driveway or, that kind of things that we could research, try to find better places for them that are still county, and what is the liability with when we have potentially 1,000 people entering and depositing.
Yeah, cause I mean, like now, I mean, you could have ice in front of it, and if someone falls and gets hurt, and then they're on county property, who's,
How does that work on one of the secondary roads? If they get out and there's ice on it, and they slip, would it be the same liability?
Where did that come up?
Technically, we're responsible for removing it from there too, so it's, I don't know if it would be, but the odds of them getting out, I mean, they are gonna get out when they drop off the recycling, so the risk is gonna be all the time.
Yeah, I would think we just want to get an opinion from our insurance carrier about what would be appropriate based on where we want to put them.
And it would be even more entangled if we tried to put them on private property somewhere, for some private property owner, like if you had it in the parking lot behind the grocery store in Buffalo, you know, would it be better for the county to manage that liability or some private citizen?
I guess snow removal is another thing to consider. We would take care of that around the containers.
Yeah.
Where's the one in the city, Buffalo Center?
I do pick up in town right now.
On a lot that is city?
No.
owned or-
I
Individual
drive
homes.
around and pick up.
Oh, I see.
That's what I do.
I gotcha.
That's my contract with Buffalo.
I see.
When I remember, I have to pull my container all the way down my driveway.
Mhm.
That's why I have more than one container.
Yeah, I really feel for you about pulling to the end of your driveway.
That's almost a whole block.
So having looked, you guys, I'm sure, have discussed it. Can you think of any other better county spots? I mean, we're hearing that it's not your favorite thing, obviously, but we're trying to come up with a solution, so.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's, incompatible with moving equipment, so we gotta find some place that's safe, is the main thing. Each town would be different, of course. Again, in Forest City, what we own is, our shop property and our salt shed property. Salt shed property getting a little less traffic, but that's where they put their pups and their beat plows sometimes, and so they're hooking and unhooking there.
So Lake Mills has probably the most room and space available.
Yeah, definitely. Have to, figure out a place to put it. I mean, right now, all the traffic comes out the southwest corner. So there's traffic kind of all the way through the parking lot right now. I mean, I would say closer to the road just for visibility and stuff like that.
But then that's kind of where we move all the snow is from the north to the south there.
That's where I turn around with the head trailers.
Yeah, we won't be able to do that anymore, we don't have recycling bin.
Yeah. So, I guess we have lots of discussion left, but
So how many spots were indicated?
you had
I had four.
four spots that you were offering on your
Yes.
proposal.
We're looking-
And that was something that we probably still need to discuss too. Do we need four spots in the county? I mean, there's other counties who've only have one. Right? I mean, Worth County only has one.
That would be simpler but less convenient the question we need to ask is we need to ask the people in the rural area whether whether they wanna pay extra for the convenience of having it at the end of their driveway, or would they rather have this for drop sites, a little less convenient, but a little cheaper. Which, I mean, I'm all in favor of anything that's gonna create income for Winnebago County residents, so I'm not against it, but at the same time, we've gotta, because I haven't talked to many rural people about it, whether they would rather actually have their container or whether they would be happy with taking it to town.
Well, I think they're used to, the ones I've talked to are used to having it, you know, pulling it out at the end of their driveway, and I've really heard a lot of feedback about when it wasn't being picked up, you know, so that was, obviously they're using it and making it, they care about recycling, they're not just throwing it in their trash can. So yeah, the convenience would be better for our residents. But I think I've said before, I personally liked taking it on my own time whenever I felt like taking it, and not having to remember a date to put it out at, and then picking up recycling that was blowing through the ditch. And so, I guess, any other questions, guys, for these? We're gonna have to have more discussion about it.
That's all right. For you,
And
it's kind of a hurry up and wait. You have to order them and wait for them to get here.
Yep.
And we have to figure out a place to put them.
Has anybody talked to Hancock County on? Cause they used to do it that way, and then now they don't have recycling, so.
They don't have recycling at all.
From what I heard, they were doing like that central located, or spots, and they were getting too much garbage, so they just got rid of it. That's what I've heard, so.
And Worth County used to have a central spot, and I think that was an issue as well, but then they built a whole facility for it.
Yeah.
A manned facility,
Adjacent to their conservation.
yeah, and that's at the conservation.
I think they might use grant dollars to do that too.
Okay, well, we may have more questions for you, and we may have more questions for Corey, who is on the phone, and have to have some more discussions with secondary roads.
How you get public opinion from the people that would, it would be nice to get some kind of feedback somehow from all the rural residents, what they would rather have. You know, usually the majority would rule on it, but,
Do a Facebook survey.
yeah.
So, just so
And
if,
you're relying on people that are connected, you know.
Right? I know,
That's
they'll
true.
always be biased.
so the, just so everybody knows who's listening or watching, this amounted to $66,000 a year from,
So I figured it out. It's 66,000 the first year, 68,000, 640,000 the second year, 71,390 the third year, and $74,250 the fourth year.
and that's 1,000 rural homes that are being serviced individually. Now, we don't know how many people actually use their recycling containers, though. I mean, they might be
We used to get
sitting in
reports
their garage. Oh, you did?
on tonnage.
From
We
Waste
didn't get
Management?
Report on how many people, but we got tonnage reports. We haven't had any
I mean, that would really be helpful, because then we would know how it's being utilized too.
And Scott's bid is 48,000, the same for all 4 years.
Yes.
It's considerable less.
Right. Okay, well, I feel like we have information, we just need to do some more research and see, can we do it? Will Facebook help us? No? No, it's not gonna help us know anything.
I think
Your opinion.
I agree. I don't use Facebook. And a lot of people in the county that are in rural are gonna be, a lot of them are older, and a lot of them don't use Facebook a lot either.
Yeah,
That's just my look on Facebook.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's fair.
I don't use it.
mhm. Is there anything else you'd like to add, Corey?
He left.
Sorry, I mean, Scott.
That's all I have.
Yeah.
I'm used to the hurry up and wait.
Is this
I did
your-
8 years in the
Is this your
Army.
full-time job?
No, I work for BC Repair full-time,
Oh, okay.
and then I do recycling as a side hobby.
so that makes it a little more sustainable.
Yeah.
That's why I figured drop-off points, because I still have a full-time job.
Larry Gray, the owner of BC Repair, is his father-in-law. So
Oh, okay. Yeah. Great. Okay, well, I think we're gonna move on unless somebody has anything to add to this.
So going
Topic.
forward, we're gonna research if there's other spots we can utilize.
We're gonna let Scott and Ethan help us figure that out.
I've got one possible spot in Thompson along the highway that I'd like to research a little more.
Yeah, it doesn't mean it has to be out in the middle of nowhere. You know, it can be.
the most convenient for just
Mhm.
Buffalo residents, if you headed in that parking lot behind the grocery store, they could dump their recycling and walk in the back door of the grocery store.
But would his customers in Buffalo Center then just do that instead?
Would I take mine up there had I forgot? Probably not. I know where he parks his trailer now, I can get rid of it that way. But,
Give us the address where you park your trailer. All right, well,
Anything else for me?
no, I don't think so. I think we're gonna table any action, or we're not gonna have any action today until we get more information.
That sounds good.
All right,
We gotta,
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Your better, your interest, and we'll see what we can do.
Thank you.
you guys have a
thanks,
good day.
Scott, yeah, you too.
All right, can we go to 3?
So you're gonna research Lake Mills, I'll research around it. One thought I had was the Four Cities drop. It's not ready yet, but what about the nature center?
Well, that was one of my first thoughts too. They're not gonna like it probably,
Well,
but
it's an educational
it's
thing.
definitely educational and
recycling,
it's
yeah.
very
They have room out there.
green and,
You're putting it, down here, you're in the corner of the county, there you're a little more centralized for the southeastern part of it, I don't.
Yeah, not everybody would wanna take it there,
but I
go
mean,
a lot of their way, but the ones where it was on their way would be awful. It would be a convenient place for a lot of people in that area.
I'm not, the location of the EMS in Thompson might be out at the old ambulance shed.
mhm.
That
Okay.
might have enough room to do it there, but we'd have to work out something with the city there to,
And it's handy. They're
right, the edge of
really
town.
handy.
So if there's any places, Lake Mills and Buffalo, maybe we can mitigate that with another location. Because that other contract is really expensive. You're averaging $70,000 a year over 4 years. Where here, you're at 48,000.
For 4 years.
I just think you're gonna get half the people to recycle. Because convenience wise, I mean, to get people to shop in our hometowns. I mean, they use the internet because it's convenient. Mailman or UPS delivers. To go take your garbage to town, I just think there's a lot of people in the country will start.
This is recycled.
I think a lot of people will just start digging holes again and burning it. And so, do you really need 4 of them then if you're going to get half the people?
I still.
Well, that's why I think
But
we need to know
recycled,
how
right?
much it's being
Recycled.
utilized.
That's the difference.
Yeah.
Most of the ones that are even pulling their container to the end of their driveway are people that are believe in it. Like, people that don't believe in it are probably still burning it anyway, so.
I believe in recycling, but I'm having a hard time getting it to the end of the driveway when it's supposed to be there for a whole week and waiting for it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we
And
see
some
them.
people are waiting, your dad's waiting longer. you know?
Yeah. I mean, we see it all the time out there too. We've plowed around them
I'm
4
sure
or
you,
5 times already. And they
So
haven't-
are you on the same route as him?
Yeah.
And did you get picked up?
well, that is another concern though too, that our snowplows, our county guys are having to go around those things, sitting around, and I'm sure they're flying into ditches and,
Well, you've got some heavy wet snow on the road, even if they go around it, if they lift, unless they lift their blade up, that snow will knock that thing over and blast that recycling all over the ditch.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard enough keeping the mailboxes up and those are posts in the ground compared to,
Now, the other option is it worth recycling? You know, are we at a point where we want to spend money on recycling?
Well, especially if it, according to him, that's not happening, but I don't know why. I've heard so many reports from so many different people that it's going to the landfill.
well, is it because when they take it to Mason, they dump and they are commingling it, so it looks like it's being dumped like trash?
You know, we've had reports that Waste Management is recycling down there, but we don't know it's recycling. It could be that there's a territory down there they're picking up garbage for and it's going to the landfill. So, we don't know that.
Well, the other thing we don't know is how many of these 1,000 residents are actually using theirs. I mean, like I said, we have them. We have 2 sites personally, and we don't use either one of them because I drop it off instead. I choose not to drag it down the lane. But how many other people would think that same way? I don't know. I do like the savings, the money savings on it, and there's still those options for people. It's still there. They might have to drive a little ways with their recycling in their trunk. But I've seen people struggle trying to get those big green totes places too.
You don't have to take the tote someplace, you just take a container and dump it.
Yes.
You're probably gonna have to have 2 containers, so.
All right. Anything else on that, or can we move on?
Well, I guess the only, just to figure out how to get at least some kind of a sampling of the rural residents and what they would rather have.
Had one gentleman, Fort Pilot Knob, that said he'd be willing to pay extra just to have it picked up there, but not everybody has that opinion. He also said it wouldn't be that hard for him to bring it to town too.
So a lot of the Rice Lake people that I've spoken to, because they were having quite an issue with theirs too, is they're just like, "Oh, we'd be happy to throw it in the trash if that's what's gonna happen." it's sad, but
Are they having garbage pickup?
they have garbage pickup out there.
Rather than bring it to town, they throw it in the trash.
Probably.
Yeah, that's what we gotta figure out, whether, which group outweighs.
Mhm.
And if it's 70% want the convenience of having it at their own containers at their driveways, then that's what we're gonna do. If it's 70% that say that, nah, I'd be just fine taking it to town.
I feel like we always need to have the option somewhere for people to take their recycling. Somewhere, whether it's even only one place or two places.
Well, I think we probably should do more research on this.
Yep.
We gotta keep moving, we got a 10 o'clock and we got other things to do before then, so.
All right, let's go to 3. Consider for approval a home-based Iowa application.
Just changing the language, we talked about it at the exec board meeting. I just brought it here to formalize it for
Okay.
each county.
So it was just removing a line or something, wasn't
Yeah.
it? Okay, do we have
Removing
that?
the out of state.
Yeah. So what do we need on that, Carla, then? Do we just need to make
Motion.
a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the recommendation of the Winworth Vetco board to remove the out-of-state line from the home-based Iowa application to open it up.
I'll second it.
Motion by Derby and seconded by Jensvold to approve the home-based Iowa application. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed. That was so easy. And you had to listen to all the recycling stuff.
That's why it goes through committee.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Number 4 can wait till later.
Okay. Scott, you're here.
I'm here.
Mhm.
You almost sound like you didn't see him before.
Just trying to make it interesting.
Don't have much today. We have enough snow where we're really not able to do anything extra outside of plowing snow, and just not much stockpiling lately either.
It really stuck to the roads, didn't it? In
That's
places.
kind of, didn't really stick, it just piled up, so. The gravels were messy enough today again, so cleaning those up also. Kinda just, after that, we're just gonna really look over our machines and make sure we're ready for what Thursday, Friday brings, I guess.
Yeah, sounds like this will be breezy.
Yeah, it sounds like we could be fighting it for the weekend anyway, so.
Yeah. We should only, that kind of stuff should start on Mondays, right? Finish by the time it's Friday.
It'd be nice if that always happened that way.
Or holidays.
Yeah,
How do you handle it when it's gonna be just ungodly windy on Thursday and
it's hard to tell right now. I mean, if it visibility and we can't see, I mean, we're not doing any good. I mean, obviously, we won't be out there also, but
Yeah, the trouble is, you can clear it out, and
it's right back
it's
there.
right back again, drifts right across again.
Yeah. And we do have that in our policy. It says that if we're out there plowing and it just fills back in, we don't.
I bladed my shop out on Friday, and I had to go back on Saturday, so Dave could get his truck in there.
Yeah.
It's all drifted in again already, just as deep as it was on Friday.
Yeah, kind of sometimes it make it worse messing with them when it's like that out there too, because you can't really see, so you don't know if you're stacking it or not. And then all of a sudden you come back the next day and it's twice as big. And sometimes that wind can help you and cut that drift off the road too. So it looks like Saturday the wind kind of dies down as of right now. But
it's gonna be cold though.
it'll be cold.
And actual snow tomorrow. Snowing tomorrow, right?
Yeah, it looks like tomorrow night it starts. And
I thought it wasn't supposed to be able to snow when it was so cold.
that east wind will bring it in, it seems like.
Seems like KOW had the smallest forecast. I've seen 6 to 10, 8 to 12, and I've seen, KOW only talked about 2 to 4 tomorrow night, not much on Thursday, so.
Yeah, DTN's kind of talking it down now again too, but just like every other weather channel, it changes every 20 minutes.
When you got wind, it doesn't really matter how much snow you got. It's gonna probably come from somewhere else to here.
Yeah.
Is that what you like to use as DTN? That you're-
Yeah, we have a subscription that we pay for DTN.
Yeah,
Kind of has some cameras on it too, so you can look out west and try to see what's coming. Works pretty good.
anything else?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, all right. Come up with some places for us to suggest for these recycling. See what we can figure out.
Are there any of the locations that have enough room?
Lake Mills would probably be our biggest area.
They've got almost wide open spaces there.
Yeah.
I've seen it, but I haven't paid a lot of attention to it because I wasn't thinking of this.
Yeah.
So Thompson, you have 2 sites. We're
Yeah.
jumping back into this, sorry guys.
Mechanic shop is basically gated off. There's a fence there. Uptown shop's just parking lot really.
Okay. We're gonna move on. We're gonna go to number 6, drainage. Help me out, guys.
11, 75, 11.
All right, thanks, guys.
Yep.
Thank you.
Hey Chris, ready for you?
I think we went through, 2 4-year contracts with those dumpsters? For the rolling.
Oh gosh,
It's been 8 years since we got them.
it's been a while.
Said, seemed like it all happened about the time I got on the board.
Before that, we had the blue ones.
Yeah.
I know when I moved out to Rice Lake, you didn't have them, and we got them while I was out there, so I think that makes sense for 8 years.
If they want to try and pick them up, they can.
Yep.
Yeah.
Morning, John.
Morning.
Hello, people.
So,
Participant announcements off.
I don't have anything for drainage matters.
nothing for number 6. Do you guys have anything for Chris?
Are you saying we solved all our drainage matters? in
Wow.
Don't bring that up, yes. I'm saying that.
town? We have pending ones, but
Right, but let's not bring any new ones quite yet.
All right.
you had one on the agenda.
Yes, but nothing for number 6.
Number 7, consider for approval a contract with Larson Contracting for D92.
Right. Larson has already signed it. I just need your signatures on them.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, and 4. Let me do this one here.
Okay. That's mine. So I am going to make a motion to approve the contract with Larson Contracting for D92.
I'll second it.
A motion by Smith and seconded by Jensvold to approve the contract, Larson Contracting. All in favor?
I
Aye. Motion passed. Come all open to the right spot.
Mm. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Open forum?
Yeah, there you go. Can't remember what it was.
Just absorbing the info.
I should be watching closely, so I know what to do.
This was received. Out of our control. That's a lot of back.
All right, anything else for open forum?
That's it?
Okay, how
I
about
put some seed on.
received
Okay.
after
You switched around,
discussing
that's
it?
not the way I usually put them.
Thank you.
It's a lot of pressure, a lot of pressure handling those things.
I'm getting nervous already.
Yeah, down here.
All right,
So much alike.
can we do our 10
One
o'clock
like that
just a
great
little bit
big
early,
old-
or? Okay, let's pretend it's 10 o'clock. John Torbert, IDDA, to discuss his annual report. Welcome.
Yeah, good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Good to be here this morning, as always. Give you a brief update on some of the things we have going on. I think most of you know we had our annual conference earlier this month. Had, I think, a pretty good program, and I've had a chance to look through the evaluations, and seems like everything was pretty positive. I guess the one big change to come out of that meeting is, as you know, the drainage clerks do have a breakout session and they meet separately. I had a request earlier this year from a drainage clerk in another county that indicated that she wanted consideration be given to having the clerks meet twice a year as opposed to just once a year. She thought there was value enough that there would be plenty to talk about even with an additional meeting. So that was brought up in the meeting, and they did decide to go ahead and do that. So we're going to be scheduling an additional session for drainage clerks and auditors probably in July. So we'll do July, December. So that was one change that came out of the meeting. Discussed our legislative program. We don't really have anything new this year at this point legislatively. We're in a new legislature, so we start with a blank slate when they come into session in January. They have said that one of the issues they want to target this year is property taxes. So batten down the hatches, I guess, if you're a local government. Don't know exactly what they have in mind for that in terms of property tax reform, but we'll be watching that. And I know there will be drainage bills that come out. We just haven't seen any yet, and we'll take those as they come.
So more of a defensive year.
So far, Yeah, and that's not unusual, and that's not all bad. That's part of our job is two things. If you have something positive, try to get it passed. If you have something negative, try to get it killed, and we do both. Chris asked about waters of the United States and where we are on that, and same old story. We're in a holding pattern. You know, this has been an issue for probably the last 15 years, and presidential parties keep changing. We get new parties in the White House. New party comes in, appoints a new director, EPA, and they decide that they're going to change waters of the United States. And this has gone back and forth and back and forth. We had a new rule put in by Obama. Trump came in and reversed that rule. Biden's come in and reversed the Trump rule and is trying to put a new rule in. We have not seen the final rule out of the Biden administration yet. We don't know when that will be. But I can tell you when that happens, the result will be that they'll get sued. And someplace, somewhere, there will be a federal judge that puts a stay on the rule until they can do further investigation. That's where we've been for the last 10 years. New rules, lawsuit, stay.
And depending on how it comes out, don't they have to have some kind of public comment period?
They have had the public comment period.
But, oh, no, wait, you just said we don't know what's coming out from Biden.
Okay, Biden proposed a rule.
Yeah,
There was a public comment period on that.
well, he did.
Yes. So that public comment period is closed. So what happens at this point is they're supposed to review all the public comments and come out with a final rule. So the public comment period closed earlier this year, but we've not seen a final rule as a result of the comments yet. So at some point, there will be a rule, and at some point they'll be sued, and at some point a judge will come in and hold up the implementation of the rule again. I don't know that it's ever going to be resolved, because as long as we keep playing ping pong with party and power and presidential politics, this is not going to get settled once and for all, and that's not all bad. So the other thing I would mention that is of potential impact for drainage, chapter 468-126 of the code spells out when you need an engineer's report when you're ordering maintenance on a district. And 3 years ago, I think it was either 3 or 4 years ago, I believe it was 3 that we got that law changed. What the law used to say was $50,000. So any maintenance in excess of $50,000, you had to get an engineer's report. I had a lot of counties tell me that $50,000 was unrealistically low, and basically what they were doing was routine, and it's really easy to get to $50,000 in this day and age. And it said, when you add an engineer's report to the cost of that repair, for all intents and purposes, you might be doubling the cost of that repair. So we got the law changed so that it makes reference to the competitive bid threshold. That is a number that is set by DOT. So that number went from $50,000 to $139,000, and it stayed at $139,000 for the last 3 years. Now, DOT has now come in and decided that with what's happening with inflation and everything else in the construction industry, they're going to raise that number. So effective January 1st of next year, that number will go to $196,000. So considerable more flexibility.
So that number will be adopted as well then?
That's already been adopted.
Okay.
It doesn't have to go to a legislature, it's set by a committee they've made their decision and signed off on it. So that number is good. So January 1st, the number changes to 196,000. So, that's quite a bit of flexibility, you know, when you consider we've gone from 50 to almost $200,000.
So it just leaves the responsibility on us to decide whether.
Yes. Yes, and it certainly doesn't preclude the hiring of an engineer.
Right.
And if you've got a repair that probably is not routine, that you feel might have some issues, and you might be better served to have an engineer take a look at it before the repair is effective, that certainly is something you all can decide to do. Of course, that's gonna increase the cost, but sometimes it's better safe than sorry. So, decision you all to make, and
Nice.
It's nice to have the flexibility of,
yes,
I like that a lot.
Takes it back to the local level.
Yep, to where, yeah, for sure. Brings it back to the local where, but if we still have questions, we still have that option.
well, when we proposed it, you know, we had some engineers that were upset.
I'm sure,
Sure they were.
I'm sure.
And we had some people working behind the scenes to try to kill the bill. Luckily, we had a little more political horsepower than they did, and were able to get the bill passed. And, you know, I think it has meant a huge savings for a lot of landowners, you know, in terms of, you know, costs they're paying out of their pocket for repairs to their districts.
to me, it's only common sense to have what is now. And anybody to fight it, in my mind, that's just pure greed.
Well, you know, there was some concern that it was also dealing with improvements, and the language says very clearly repairs. It's not improvements.
There's some maintenance repairs that probably still require, or not necessarily require, should have engineering
Yes,
involved, just so
by all
everybody's
means.
fitting the same way.
Yes, by all means. But essentially, you know, you all are trustees of the district, and what the legislature is doing is giving you all, as trustees, the authority to make that decision, so.
And by doing that, they've given the landowners to pay the bill who vote for us, some, you know, basically there, because we do,
Yep.
for the most part, what they want.
Yeah.
So it's giving power back to the people that are
Right.
paying for it.
So I will get an email out before the end of the year to all our membership on that, so that people have it in writing and are aware of it, but I wanted to make sure you all knew about it. That's a pretty substantial change. Last year, we had a bill which was Senate File 500, which IDDA opposed. And the bill, you know, a lot of drainage bills that don't come from us come out of anger. Somebody's disgruntled, talks to their legislator, and of course, the typical legislative response is, well, we'll write a bill. And in this case, there was a state senator who was in a drainage district and did not like how I don't know whether it was repair or improvement, but didn't like how it went down, and decided we're gonna change drainage law. And he came out with a Senate File 500, which I never did understand. I mean, it was indecipherable to me. I read through it when the bill came out 4 times, trying to figure out, and it created different tiers of repairs and improvements. And if you had this population, you could do this, and if you had this population or acres, you could do that, and like 7 different levels. And I mean, it took 2 pages of drainage statutes and turned it into 10 pages. And I mean, it was not what our board views positive change. So we voted to oppose it, which we were very comfortable doing, and, you know, I don't know whether that bill's gonna be back or not, but we'll see what happens.
The anger part of it is,
Pardon me?
I kinda changed the old phrase, you know, people get mad about drainage, oh, it's not fair and love war and drainage.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you indicated the 7 levels of population, but what is it changing? How,
So different thresholds for each one in terms of publication and,
oh,
yeah.
And what was that called? You called it something.
Senate File 5.
Senate File 500, but that's not gonna exist anymore now because the
But
legislature
if
is
you
done.
wanted to look it up from last year, you could read it.
Yeah,
That's why I still send a letter at $10,000 to tell people there's a repair, and if they wanna know how much they owe, give me a call. It just works out great.
Communication, keeping the public informed is,
Yep.
And there's the ones that get a letter about every other week because we keep adding new projects.
Yep. I don't like to do those, but that happens.
It all turned out though,
Yes.
just got confusing.
Mm-hmm. But I don't get calls when they get their taxes either.
yeah.
So they all knew it was coming.
Anything you'd like to add, John, today?
No, I think we're good. Just say, Merry Christmas to you all and good to see you again and be out and about.
Thank you for your good work on this.
Yeah, you had some good news there.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Merry Christmas.
their old retired supervisor get a hold of you?
Which one?
Mike Stensrud?
I get a lot of calls. That doesn't ring a bell.
Yeah. He called me, he couldn't remember your name. He had a drainage issue up there that he wanted people to know that a repair, you can't stop a repair. He wanted to have them get an opinion from you on.
I don't recall that, but that doesn't mean he doesn't call me.
Well, it could have been somebody he gave your.
He even gave the number to
Yeah.
somebody too.
Sure.
So he just wanted to reassure them that it was, there was nothing you could do.
I had a call, I remember from somebody retired, who wanted to know what the easement was on drainage right of ways, and I said, well, there's nothing in law that says how many feet the easement is. It's according to the survey, so you'll have to go back and look at the survey, but that's, yeah. He was looking for something in law that says easement is, 200 feet or,
And those tend to vary quite a bit,
yeah.
depending on the type of ground.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep. Ditch.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
Okay, good to see
Yeah,
you all.
thank you for all you do.
Travel safe. Let's move to number 10.
You want to go back to number 4? Or?
Oh, would you like to go there? Discuss wellness program with Mercy Care and/or Public Health.
So I have been working with this Mercy Care to work on some kind of a wellness program. And the first thing they did was send out a survey. I don't know if any of you took the survey or not, but survey came back with the things that the county employees wanted or did not want for a wellness program. And so this Mercy Care came up with some things that we could do, and
Based on the survey.
based on the survey.
You want to just make copies of this?
Yeah.
So Carla, is it kind of more for in-house, does it seem like? Or is it for everybody who works who maybe
Anybody
only-
who works for the county that wants to participate, is eligible to participate. I would like, and I don't know, we don't necessarily have to do these things that are on the sheet, because they cost money. And I think that our public health could probably do quite a few of the things that are on this sheet. And I did talk to Julie, and Julie talked to Allison, and I think the public health is willing to
Address the,
do the wellness program. So, but you can take a look at this, and she said, you know, if we did decide to do maybe a couple of things on the sheet, that we could do it. We could do them a la carte, so,
so these are the costs that RC would offer them to the county for,
Yep.
okay? And if we ran them through public health, would those costs change?
yeah, I think so. The last, I think public health just ordered the supplies and did it for us.
So there was no cost if it went through public health,
Right.
except for,
I mean, they paid for
Supplies.
it.
yeah. Okay. So, again, because some of these are things that you kind of would need to be here for, does it not work as well for secondary roads? It doesn't work as well for, you know, offices that aren't in the courthouse proper. How many people are actually in the courthouse?
Not off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Last time they made appointments though, and they came in, and
So you've done some of these before?
yeah, it's been a while ago.
We did the blood pressure checks.
hmm
Because the first thing Jane did was grab my arm at 7:30 in the morning, track my blood pressure up.
Yeah.
So if we move forward with the improvements on public health, would there be places to do it there? Or where would some of these take place?
And that's, I think we need to sit down and talk with public health too, but I just wanted to bring this to you as a start, and then,
Is there any of these that might be better through Mercy or?
I don't know. Like I said, I think we need to sit down with public health also. They
So
couldn't
should
be
this be
here.
something I should bring to the next public health board meeting?
That would be fine, or we could, they couldn't be here today, but either way.
Yeah, interesting. I sometimes read the ones that you send out. Not always.
And those are from the EAP too, so there's different places that we get some wellness stuff, so.
All right. Well, let's see what Julie and Allison have to say about it.
I'll give you the claims and the payroll. The transfers are on my other folder, so I gotta go grab those.
long has John been with the IDDA? A long time?
As long as I've been here, at least 12 years.
And probably longer.
Yeah, he's a knowledgeable fellow. Well spoken.
Where does he live? Do you know? Does he live in
I
Buck?
don't know, is she live in Fort Dodge?
The office is in West Des Moines, I think.
Oh, West.
I think. They just use Fort Dodge more central farming people
Yeah.
that participate.
Yeah.
You know, there's not a lot of drainage districts when you get down closer to the rivers down there. Southern Iowa doesn't have a lot. It's all natural drainage down there.
So we've got auditors transfers and we've got the
No, we're
semi-monthly.
working on auditors transfers.
Oh, they're there. So today's the day that there's open house for Chris. What time does that start, Carla?
I do not know.
1 to 3:30, so.
Okay.
I was just trying to figure out if the entertainment was coming or not.
Oh, I'll bet. I'd like to see the
So I
entertainment
mentioned
too.
it to him, so we'll see. I pulled out the card that she gave me, Christmas card, the family picture, it was on it, it says, "Enjoy the world," and there's Lee. I had to look at that again this morning.
I love those kind of cards. That's fun.
In church on Sunday, he wore a flannel shirt, red flannel shirt with a bow tie. Hilarious.
So this last one, what is the O1GU dash, what it's going to?
That's probably drainage.
Is that a drainage one?
Yeah.
It's hard to decipher that. I don't know why they don't make those pins just a little bit longer.
I'll make a motion to approve the auditor's transfers.
I'll second it.
A motion by Derby and seconded by Jensvold to approve the auditor's transfers. All in favor? Aye. Motion passed.
So this Earl's demolition, 54, 52, 17. Remember what they actually did. It's not a large amount, I'm just wondering. 17, that'd be over Worth County, wouldn't it? Combination. Must be out by the pilot farm somewhere. That went to the township.
It's Hancock.
Hancock, I know, but it also had 17 on there, so it indicates it was 3 counties
Oh.
that have paid it. It looks like all the cost is in 2 counties. Why would it have 3?
Well, some of them are,
One drains into the other?
some of them are tri-drains, but there's maybe a lateral that is just the two.
So this, federal emergency management just shows the map changes. Is there anything that we need to know about that?
I might have just accidentally included that.
Two, right? Is that just for our information?
Was that in your mailbox? Or what that?
It just came through.
Oh,
You got the
Yeah.
other one.
It must have been your part.
This
There's
is
two
one of those.
changes on the back page.
This is the one I stamped it earlier too, and I couldn't have. I'm in burn off mode on Stanford. So it looks like that one drainage fund had to do with natural gas. Legal work.
probably sent it to Matt Duvet too, so
Oh, yeah.
that's who would probably deal with that.
Okay.
The tile repair, it had to do with legal work too.
There's been a lot of pipeline stuff happening over in, or Worthcombe.
Or
Worthcombe.
Oh, really?
Well, I think there's, lots of repairs and stuff going through. I see them a lot as I go through Worth County.
Natural gas line?
In the crossings mostly, isn't it?
Some's right out in the middle,
I think.
edges of fields,
Hmm.
replacement.
Well, I've noticed, like some of the laterals have had, they go along the fence line.
Yes.
You know, out east of town here, coming into town, the one comes.
And up on the state line to the east, but man, there's just lots of stuff going on there. Okay, so did we have any motions on the auditors and the
Transfer.
Where are you?
transfers? We're at transfers.
Did we actually vote?
Yeah.
Oh, we did, sorry.
Seemed like I remember typing.
Sorry, I didn't write it down. Usually I try to put your initials in the order that I do. Oh, I see. Matt was actually CC'd in this, so he has it already. I don't have to get this to him, huh? Okay.
Earl's demolition.
Here's what else it goes by, Earl's demolition and Surface. Work together. That sound familiar? this Ellingson one in Township of Ellington
Mm-hmm,
is in Hancock County, and so we share.
mm-hmm,
So this is our portion of it, is
Yep.
the 9,000?
yep.
Oh, I see, the total bill is, or 24% of it, I see. This looks like an awful lot of it was in Hancock.
We've got a few that are the other way around, too. Semi-monthly.
Semi-monthly county claims.
I'll second it.
Motion by Jensvold, seconded by Derby to approve the semi-monthly county claims. All in favor? Aye. Motion passed. Consider for approval payroll claims.
I'll make a motion to approve the payroll claims.
I'll second it.
Motion by Derby, seconded by Jensvold to approve the payroll claims. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion passed. Consider to approve appointments to the NICOG boards and other boards. How'd that go, Carla?
Well, you can't have Daisy be on the city one because it has to be an elected official.
Oh,
So I talked to Daisy and got information from her who would be good on that. With Marcia Tweeten.
oh,
She was more than willing to serve on that, so
nice.
she's a council member. Is there other ones that need to go under NICOG?
I think that was the only one that we needed to fix.
How about other boards?
I don't, I just think keep looking into them. I think we did a pretty good job the other day of filling those down.
So with that change, we feel pretty good about it?
I think I just need a motion.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to, put Marcia Tweeten to NICOG board serving city representative.
Second it.
Does that include the other boards as well? All the boards then?
Well, can Daisy still be on that transportation one, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so then we just need the one for now.
Motion by Derby and seconded by Jensvold to approve appointments to NICOG boards. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved. And consider for approval appointments to the EMS committee. Everybody talk to their people?
in discussing what, City of Forest City, has indicated that Daisy would probably be the best liaison between the city and the advisory council. And that Marshall Tweedy could be a backup in case Daisy can't make it.
Okay,
And then I also talked to Mike Holland, he said he'd do the Thompson one, be honored, he said.
nice.
I talked to Scott, yeah. He almost said it with sincerity. And then the rural, I did talk to Scott Anderson, he said he'd start on it. He says, is this a long-term? I said, you can resign after 1 year if you want, but, you know, if you want to start it, see it, how it goes. Told him the first year would be the toughest probably, trying to get the first budget going.
Yes. Okay. What'd you do?
Dan Young, said he'd be on there. No, we've got the two rural ones that was Scott.
Lynn was the other one.
Lynn Hanson. Because he had already agreed to it, so. So I spoke to Brian Knudsen and last week and on Monday after he had spoken with Dennis Booster. So he agreed to be on it too. So Brian, and then for the city of Lake Mills, I spoke to Fran, and Fran will be on it with Diane as his backup in case he's out of town or something, because he does travel, you know. So, which ones did we decide were the 2-year, 4-year,
We have to do that.
or we haven't done that yet?
And then,
Like we would want, like the two rural guys, we'd want them to be opposite, I suppose.
Yes,
I think so, yeah.
yep, I agree.
Maybe Scott would be the first 2-year one,
Oh, there you go.
since he was
That makes sense.
questioning it. And you're gonna serve on it for us? Okay. The only one we haven't filled is the project coordinator. And we're still taking applications for that, right?
I did not have time to, I'm trying to get valuations done, so I forgot to post that.
Oh,
Post.
So, where do we, I mean, is there some specific sites that we feel like we would draw from for that position? I mean, is it something we can email out to that original group too? Or how, just trying to figure out how to get it out there to more people, that position. Because there was some interest in it with other EMS folks originally. But they didn't submit anything, I don't think. We only had the one, right?
And I did bring that in if you wanted to see it.
Yeah, let's look again. Bill, you'd like to take his number down and call him and visit with him about it. He's got his number on there. It's gonna be a challenging position. I think everyone is pretty aware how important that committee is that I spoke to. But everyone did have a concern about how often they would meet and, you know, when they would meet. And basically, my response to them was that that committee will be able to decide how often they're gonna meet and when and where and what works best for the whole group.
I look at, if you have somebody in charge of the budget, like the project coordinator, and the bills are getting paid according to budget, the advisory council wouldn't have to meet more than, you know, for that purpose quarterly, would they? Wouldn't have to do it every month?
I don't think so.
That's kind of what I told
But you're gonna have
them.
budget meetings, you're gonna have probably, you're gonna have to, are they gonna be in charge of the project coordinator, or we? I'm guessing that's a separate position that we created that we're hiring, right? So that person's responsible to us, much like that position. It's a contract.
So they'd be the ones that would be put on our agenda to come in to explain anything or keep us updated and. Did we,
And then as far as review on their position, we should probably do that once a year with them.
did we agree on, compensation for that last week?
Yeah.
Okay. So just to remind Bill and all of us, if you're gonna get in contact with him, because I think it'd be good to talk to him about it, since he's the only one that's applied. So that he knows what we've already decided, compensation wise. So it's 2,500, right?
Is that the position you forgot to advertise, or no?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. So we kinda have to wait for that to happen too, so.
So the function of advertising is posting it and wherever else we put it, but as long as we post it here, then that's the start.
That's the cover.
So if we can get it out today, do you think?
I will.
So then, by the end of the year, we'll be able to close that.
Because they're gonna have to start budget meetings quickly. I did tell the people that I talked to that agreed to be on the EMS that they might have to meet weekly for a little bit.
Are you gonna be able to, within our budget sheets, just plug in the numbers that was originally identified possibly, or?
Yeah, we can add budget numbers in there and
And then they decide from there how they wanna do it. Where are we at on the, surtax thing?
that's taken care of.
So can we decide who has the 4-year terms and who has the 2-year terms
Well,
at this point?
to start with, I had him as a 4-year term since he's just got elected again.
Yeah.
And I had, warriors I thought about was Daisy at Forest City, Lynn, rural. And then the other, Scott Anderson would be 2. Maybe Brian would be 2.
Okay.
And down to the Lake Mills, Buffalo Center, and Thompson. See, we've already got 2 of each, so project coordinator is just gonna be on whoever the project coordinator is. I mean, it's not a term necessarily.
Right. I kind of feel like Brian maybe should be on a 4, just because it's gonna kind of be a financial budgeting thing.
You can always reappoint them.
Yeah, he'd be
just-
one of the first up to re-up.
Yeah,
Sure.
It's not, doesn't mean there ain't gonna be there
Gonna
for 6.
change,
Yeah.
Okay, so Mike Howland for, Lynn Hagenson for, Daisy for, Brian 2, Scott Anderson 2, Bill Jensvold 4. Project coordinator does not have a term. And who else do we have then?
9, right?
Pardon?
9 on it.
Oh, Buffalo Center is, Dan.
So Lake Mills, Buffalo Center, and Scott Anderson and Brian would be the 2s.
Okay, so Yagi, Fran Unger would be 2, Scott Anderson 2, Brian Knudsen 2.
Say that one more time,
Right, Fran Unger 2,
okay?
Dan Yagi 2. I'll just go down. Bill Jensvold 4, Scott Anderson 2, Brian Knudsen 2, Daisy 4, Lynn Hagenson 4, Mike Howen 4. Who am I missing?
That's it. The project
Yep.
coordinator.
That's it.
Okay.
That's a good group. Feel good about that.
Other than the last position we have to appoint.
Yep.
So is this something we action on today?
Yes,
And we can do it on those 8,
Yes.
okay?
I'll make a motion to appoint Bill Jensvold, Daisy Huffman, Fran Unger, Mike Howen, Lynn Hagenson, Scott Anderson, Brian Knudsen to the EMS Council, Advisory Council.
Can I second it if I'm under?
Yes.
Okay, a motion by Derby and seconded by Jensvold to approve the appointments to the EMS Advisory Council. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. That's a good day in the boardroom. And if there's nothing else, we stand adjourned.